sis2sis. Hi everyone, thanks for coming back to sis2sis, sis2sis. We were just having an off-camera joke actually about the name we nearly called ourselves.
Which one?
So we are very different. Even we're sisters, we're born from the same mother, same father.
Yes.
I'm gonna edit that, yeah.
Yeah.
Born from the same mother, same father, but we are so different. So my sister's like, we're yin and yang. So she had the idea,
She yin, she yang.
but apparently that just sounds like we're from a whole different continent. So we went she yin, she yang.
I don't think it's gonna
this
work, she
time.
yang.
So we're still Tan and Charlie, okay? And we're back. I think the last time, our last video was just our introduction, really.
Yeah.
And we were just touching on a bit of music, healing, meditation, and how we've used it, you know, well before this lockdown, but how it's helped us through this whole pandemic time.
Yeah.
So from the beginning of this year, literally till now, how it's helped us through. So my sister is actually a done. She has been self-healing through things like CMOS and meditation. So she showed me about different frequency music, how to play them, what they're used for. So I'm gonna let her just tell you about how she's literally helping herself through fibromyalgia.
Okay, so a few years ago I was medically diagnosed with having fibromyalgia, which is severe problems with the nervous system. It comes with a lot of other symptoms, whether that be migraines, joint pain, fatigue, insomnia, sometimes IBS. It got to a point where my quality of everyday life probably wasn't what it should be.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, having 3 children, there were days when I was doing the school run and then having to literally sleep for the entire day. And
Swimming, roller skating, all this stuff through all this pain. I don't know how she does it, but anyhow.
I think the biggest motivator is my children and wanting them to still have a life, having them to still want fun, have a childhood, and look back and not see that it was plagued by mum's health. Basically. So I took the conscious decision to start meditating, start looking at my diet, and start looking at what I'm feeding into my body. At the beginning of the lockdown, as in the last video, as I said, rather than go out, which is something that we couldn't do because of the lockdown, I started to focus on going in, meditating every evening, transmuting. That is basically for me just turning the negative energy into positive energy. So if something does bother me, if something does trigger me, if I see something on Facebook, if the news is on in the background because somebody else in the house is watching it, I can feel my heart rate going out of sync. I can feel my breathing going out of sync. It was so severe at the beginning, like yourself, probably 2 weeks into the lockdown, I unplugged. I literally had to unplug from the TV. I stopped watching all scheduled programming.
Unplugging is necessary sometimes.
Literally, I have been watching EastEnders since the year that it was launched, I think 1984, and it took the lockdown for me to be able to say I have no idea what's going on in EastEnders right now. It was something that I had to look at feeding into myself. I've looked at the kind of music I put into my system, filtered the things that we are eating. Obviously no takeaways because of lockdown anyway, but I personally have cut out things like sugar and dairy and gluten and wheat, which has had a tremendous effect on my gut health, which if you look into health or spirituality or anything like that, you will know that your gut health literally is the core of all your other health. I started taking CMOS. Fantastic. It obviously has 102 minerals that we as humans need.
So it has 92 of
it has 92 of the 102 minerals that we need. Obviously I was lacking something or some things because since taking it, the fatigue has reduced. Not totally gone, but reduced. The pain has not disappeared, but it has reduced. So much has lessened and the energy has gone up.
I can just definitely say on the aspect of like taking CMOS,
yes,
I also have been taking it for few months now, probably about 3-4 months now. So we do it ourselves. We make it into a gel.
Yes.
And there's a video you can watch as well.
Yeah.
Link to we'll share.
Yeah,
We'll
I
link
think
it.
you take it, whereas you may add it to stuff, whereas I take it raw, as in
Yeah,
two.
it's good to
yeah.
do both. To be fair,
Yeah.
if you can, and if you have a family, you want them to get it. It's also good to put it in soups and stews and everything
Definitely.
else. But I've seen the difference in my hair, skin, nails,
Energy levels.
definitely energy
Yeah.
levels. Definitely where I think, you know, I couldn't do a workout, you know, 5-mile walk, you know, all those things. You just feel like you get a boost for, and it just
Do you remember
increases
when I
your-
sent you the video of me exercising and you and Mum asked if it was a stunt double in the video? Because
Yeah.
I hadn't exercised for about 5 years,
Mhm.
bar the physio and the hydrotherapy, so the medical exercises, I wasn't able to
Mhm.
physically do any exercises that didn't come with about a 2-week recovery period of pain and painkillers. I haven't been able to sort of fully exercise every day,
Mhm.
but the fact that I can exercise,
Yeah,
I
it's
can actually
huge.
put that into, it's the
And
hugest.
it's so uplifting to see you be able to do that. When
Definitely.
I saw those videos, I was like, what?
Definitely, and
You know,
then that
that's
in
fun.
itself has raised obviously your serotonin and dopamine and all of those sort of levels, which in turn again helps with your emotion, as in your emotional well-being, your mental health. If you feel good,
Yeah, well, you can't stay still, because staying still
No.
is the worst thing for
No.
your mental, for your,
No.
you know, it's opposite of mindfulness. You know,
Yeah.
if you are aware of mindfulness and the things you need to do for your
Definitely.
body to feel to work, really.
yeah, I mean, sitting in a park with my shoes off, with my feet on the grass, i.e. grounding, looking at the trees swaying in the natural breeze, listening to the birds sing, looking at the clouds, listening just to the laughter of children, bringing it back to the core of what life is about, actually allowed me to bring myself back to what is important. To strip away all the other stuff, all the reality shows, which I didn't watch a lot of anyway, but to strip away all the distractions. And I think people get so caught up in absorbing everybody else's frequency, everybody else's energy. You're not you.
It
If
wasn't.
all you
It
do-
actually, if you look at it in that perspective, it was an amazing time to be able to switch off.
Definitely.
Like, I could go out the back and hear birds. Like,
Oh, definitely.
literally, the skies were blue. There
I
was no chemtrails. There
Yeah,
was no
I think
air pollution, no noise pollution, no
Yeah.
traffic pollution. It has been bliss in the fact of going back to nature. Like,
definitely.
I am actually a bit annoyed that things are going to revert
Yeah.
back to
I think
normal.
if you were to ask a Buddhist monk or anyone along those sort of lines what this time could have been sort of used for, or what did they use this time for, or what could have come out of it, it would have probably been silence, peace,
healing,
tranquility,
real
healing.
yeah, self.
And people sometimes think healing is just physical, as in the medical side of it, but healing is grief. Healing is grieving for loved ones, but also grieving for the person that you were. When you are diagnosed with a lifelong illness, or an illness that seems to just never want to go away, you have to grieve yourself. You have to grieve yourself as the person you were. What I was capable of doing before, but what are my capabilities now? There's a lot of things where I think people have also probably not always taken it the right way, as in I've become a lot more introverted since being diagnosed with fibromyalgia. When you have to watch what you eat, when a temperature change, air conditioning can literally cause pain and muscular
I've
pain.
seen it,
You literally have to watch where you can go, like all of these things. What are the facilities once you're there? People sort of see, oh, you know, but you look fine, why don't you rave anymore? It's sometimes you get tiring to actually explain
You don't
all
want
these things, so you actually take yourself away. It can seem antisocial, it can seem all
That's
these
like
things.
with a lot of illnesses. That's why depression comes on the back of a lot of physical ailments, because you don't want to explain, especially things you can't see, like rheumatism, arthritis. You know, when you suffer with fibroids and those kind of things that people can't see, and you're dealing with your battle with. But to explain it is so hard. Like,
And
I know I took more or less 2 years out. Of life, because I was going through this medical
just to be able to get you
issues,
back to where you were, and at the time you didn't think there was actually a light at the end of the tunnel, but with everything you went through and everything you kind of had to implement,
it's
it
the
got
same
you
healing,
back to
because I went through a stage where even in the process of healing there was a downward spiral, where just being in a hospital so much, being in an ambulance, you know, repeatedly, you kind of just panic. Even when I see an ambulance on the road, you know, you kind of have that panic. If something triggers you to your body to have to regulate itself, you don't know if you're going to be able to. So you do take yourself for a process, but when you know how powerful your self-awareness and your self-healing can be. It's amazing. You don't need to keep running back to no GP, no doctor.
And even when you take things for granted, like, oh, it's mind over matter, it can seem almost like an insult when someone says that to you when you're still in the throes of what you're going through. But I think once you actually implement that, you do realise that there is a lot of it is mind over matter. Once you decide to sort of say, okay, well, I'm going to start taking CMOS. I told myself that for years, and then one day I just placed the order. Once I placed the order, it came, I started taking it, the changes happened.
You have to move.
Literally. So sometimes it's all well and good, and probably going back a little bit to like, oh, mum, she has the best advice and she knows everything to do, but if you don't do it all the time, you're not.
So what is like, apart from yourself, your mental ability, like, I know I keep a gratitude daily diary, what kind of outward things have you used to help you get to this point?
Okay, I would say I meditate every evening. I personally, not everybody does, but I personally prefer to use candles. Just candles, not candles that are coloured for specific reasons, just candles that suit my mood. Just
give it like an ambience.
Yeah, an ambience. I tend to stay away from fragrance candles because fibromyalgia, or just always being quite highly sensitive, fragrances tend to kind of really get to me. So I stick to unscented candles. I use crystals that sort of promote intuition or just healing, bringing myself back to that, and music. The music varies. Sometimes I listen to R&B, sometimes I listen to dancehall, sometimes I listen to Afro beats, whatever.
What did you say, Charles, that dance?
Whatever gets my bum kind of, that kind of thing. Whatever basically raises your vibration, gets your energy. I dance in my house like nobody's watching, and I don't care. My kids come in, I'm doing the dishes, and whatever I be doing, and they're just like, oh, here she goes again. My children also know that I can't sing, but I tend to listen to all my music with my headphones on, so they suffer and I don't. Tone deaf since birth. Mum and Tanya always told me that I couldn't sing. So when my kids tell me I can't sing, I say, do I look like I'm auditioning for X Factor?
Yeah, we're not those X Factor families that let you people go on X Factor and they can't sing.
Let's be
and
truthful.
then they come out there crying.
No, I can't sing. I know I can't sing. So I listen to music, full blast with headphones on, and torture my children with my singing.
So bring it back to the healing. How do you think you've partially healed, fully healed? Like, where are we?
Speaking to actual medical doctors on the phone, like as in when I've been called recently for checkups and to see where I am with certain things by specialist doctors who I've been referred to over the sort of course of the last few months. Speaking to them, telling them what I've been doing and where I'm at, I would say I'm probably about between 50 and 80% healed on certain of my medical conditions. That's also coming with confirmation from the medical sector.
And this has been like your own device,
my own.
Bit of Dr. Sebi, bit of parent, bit of ancestral.
Literally going back, finding out who I am, like digging down into my roots of who I am, who my people were, who my ancestors were. Basically, they've always said you cannot know where you're going unless you know who you are. Once you really dig deep and really water those roots, you feel like you've got the strength to move forward.
And I just touch on that because me and my sister have different beliefs, spiritual beliefs. Like, she's a very spiritual young lady, as you can see and as you can tell. I use elements of the earth, but I do always refer back to biblically what's written. You know, having your body as a temple. So me and my family, we always look at diet. We've eradicated things that we know were specifically not just a law, but it was made a law because those things actually are not good for your body. So things like crab, crustaceans of the sea, things like the earth, the dirt of the sea, like we don't have those in our diet. Things like pork, different types of meat, that actually those animals, they can't get rid of their own toxins. So if you ingest them, what you're actually doing is taking in their toxins. They're animals that don't sweat. They don't have glands to sweat. So they can't purify themselves. So even though people go, oh, you do this, you do that because religion, actually, if you look deeper than just the fact that it's coming from a book or from whatever you believe.
I think if you add the science to it sort of thing.
If you look at the biology of why that was given as an instruction, you know it was done for your own good. The same like we have, you know, as our 7th day of rest is our Sabbath day, which is on a Saturday. Now, people go, oh, you do that, and like, you know, why'd you do that? But actually, someone's telling you as a grown-up to rest. Like, I love it. You know, like, from you're a child, people send you to bed. like as an adult, you don't get that. You're always on the go. You're always on the go. Actually, I believe the Most High gave you a day that said this is for your body to heal. You are not supposed to run machinery, run body, go gym, all the things that wear you out. He's saying this is for my people. You have that day of rest. What is wrong with having a day where your body has to recover, where you're not taking in information, you're not, working of any sort, you're not spending any money? I think that's a positive thing, and I don't see anything wrong with it. So in that respect, the changes as a family we've made through what we believe has really increased our health, all of us, because on that day no one's doing nothing. We eat a full meal, we look at what we eat, and we pray together. And even if you don't believe in that, the power of praying, meditation collectively is so strong.
The strength in
it's
numbers.
so strong. So I just thought I'd touch on that. Sometimes I don't put my religious views out there on everything we're going to talk about, but we do come from different perspectives.
Definitely, we're totally different. Some similarities. Obviously, the day that you would probably rest on is a totally different day than what I would rest on. You obviously have mentioned your beliefs. Obviously, you said, I'm not religious, I am spiritual. But that being said, I'm more of an humanist. I'm not an atheist. An atheist obviously believes in absolutely nothing. I've never said and would never say that I believe in absolutely anything, and I would never discredit anybody's religion or belief, because as an humanist, you actually believe that there is truth or some truth in all religions. I think sometimes it does not upset me, because I don't allow things to get to me like that. It does sort of make me take a step back when I do see people knocking other people's religion, because I think once you get to that point where you are respectful of all religions, you are well on your journey to your own bliss, no matter what that is, and no matter which path that takes.
Your truth.
It's your truth. Once you are still spending energy knocking people's race, people's religion, people's economic background, people's area where they live in, once a lot of your energy is focused on finger pointing and you
becomes toxic.
It becomes toxic, but you take time and energy away from the work. You have things that you should be doing. I have things that I know.
You in your tracks.
Exactly.
It's such a non-productive environment to be in when you have, I call it fake haters or fake supporters. Like fake support people that are, they look like you're genuine, but actually they don't respect where you're coming from.
But then I would also think it's a thing where a lot of people who kind of knock other things, if you took a second to say, so what do you believe? Half of them wouldn't be able to answer that question. They don't know what they believe, and I think that's why they spend a lot of time kind of knocking or questioning, but probably in the wrong sort of bullish way.
Yeah, and I think in our lives, today we've mostly spoken about healing and meditation, and both of us, we've come across a lot of toxicity, and a few narcissists actually in our time. So I think that might be our next show. So if you did like today, and you feel like you want a bit more of a conversation where it comes to crystal healing, using sage, smudging, we didn't touch those things that we do as well. But if you want some more advice, comment, like, subscribe, and
click the notification bell. I am just going to leave you with a few songs.
Okay.
The songs that I would say have helped me the most. So we'll just see you out with that. Every single day for about the last 8 years, I've listened to India Irie, her song Video. If you listen to that song, I think you would feel comfortable in your own skin, no matter the shape, size, height, length, width, no matter what form you come in. I think if you listen to that song, it would uplift you greatly and start your day off in any way. I also listen to Taurus Riley, My Day. I think every day is my day. Every day is your day. Literally to get you started, your energy up, not really caring about what other people necessarily think. Obviously a new one, Master KG and Burna Boy. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Jerusalem. Kind of bum flicking, dancing,
Just
whole
get you
family
going,
get involved.
We might have to do a separate video just for
Literally. You'll see. And then the last one is, and I apologise if I get her name wrong, Sienna Bose. It's called I Owe You Nothing. It's probably one of my favourite songs at the moment. It's about literally owing nobody anything for the person that you are. Just being you and saying, you know what, I don't owe you nothing. It's one, especially as a female, one to get up, to literally just let your energy go, let your hands go up, and do you.
So from sis 2
sis.
Peace out. See you next time. Bye.